Good afternoon, I'm Marshall Zelinger.
And I'm Ann Trujillo, and welcome to Politics Unplugged. And this week, we are gearing up for the Democratic National Convention and wrapping up the Republican Convention.
I humbly and gratefully accept your nomination for the presidency of the United States.
Donald Trump officially accepted the GOP nomination Thursday night as the convention came to a close. The nominee hitting on familiar topics during his speech, saying crime and violence will end if he's elected, and blaming the current administration for racial violence and saying he will stop illegal immigration.
We are going to build a great border wall to stop illegal immigration, to stop the gangs and the violence, and to stop the drugs from pouring into our communities.
Joining us to talk, probably not as loud, about these developments are Democratic strategist Steve Welchert. I had to make a comment about how loud he talks. Steve Welchert is here, and on the conservative side, Krista Kafer, co-host of Kelly and Kafer on KNUS Radio.
And we're excited to have both of you here because we have a lot to talk about with the RNC. First, Krista, I know you've not been a Trump fan. Did he say anything that has swayed you?
Not one thing.
Oh.
Yeah, it was, but it was interesting as a, well, you know, my master's degree is in political science, so as a political scientist and a teacher of communication, I thought it was pretty fascinating.
Did he do anything to sway Sanders voters or Ted Cruz voters?
Well, he did mention in his speech about helping people with debt, college debt, so maybe that was sort of a handout to them, I don't know, but I think he really is just trying to consolidate his base and keep people from voting libertarian.
Well, Steve, I want to touch on talking about Bernie Sanders. He made a plea. Bernie Sanders had a rough deal, and they're going to vote for me because the one thing I'm going to talk about are these trade issues that they care about.
The system's rigged. It's rigged for everybody, and so Bernie's people should go my way. And he also did the LGBTQ, too, which was different. No, it won't matter. And the difference, I think, between what we saw this week and what we'll see next week is that the kiddie pool is now officially closed, and Adult Swim starts on Monday. And Bernie Sanders will give a full-throated endorsement of Hillary Clinton, and it won't be a close call. Now, everyone on the floor who are Sanders people won't be as excited as we'd like him to be, but Bernie Sanders will do his job.
You don't think he's going to say, hey, guys, vote your conscience?
Not a chance.
Do you accept the kiddie pool reference?
I thought that was kind of funny, although I think that the people that were in the kiddie pool should probably be in the adult pool, and some of the people that were in the adult pool should really go back to the kiddie pool.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly?
Some people have no right to be swimming towards the Oval Office.
So back to Ted Cruz, though. What was that brilliant? Was that political suicide?
You know, the one thing we all, I think, thought the Trump people could do, Trump and his folks, was like put on a 1-hour TV show every night, right? That's what he's supposed to be good at, is the whole show and the kind of the P.T. Barnum piece of it. And at least 2 of the 4 nights, they lost control of the message, right? Melania on Monday night with the plagiarism thing that I felt badly for her over, but ended up maybe she really did it. And then the Cruz thing a couple nights later, they were off message all the time. The hall was half empty most of the time. They weren't on the clock with their primary speakers batting cleanup when the show's on. So it was a very strange dynamic, I thought.
But the ending night, I had a lot of chanting out there. People seem to feel good. I think there's a sense of desperation on the right, saying if we don't support this guy, somebody even worse will get in. And I think that, if anything, will get them to coalesce around this candidate.
It really was must-see TV, though, even with what happened with the speech and with Ted Cruz. Donald Trump also going directly after Hillary Clinton during his speech on Thursday night, blaming her for much of what's wrong with the nation's foreign policy. Here's what she said.
Her bad instincts and her bad judgment, something pointed out by Bernie Sanders, are what caused so many of the disasters unfolding today. But Hillary Clinton's legacy does not have to be America's legacy.
And it is what he said. Do you think this is the same tone that we'll hear over the next 107 days until Election Day?
Oh, yeah, and I think it's going to get uglier. So you heard Chris Christie, now you heard Donald Trump saying, you know, it's her fault. All of these bad things have hurt. And kind of ginning up that fear to a sense that people absolutely have to vote for him or otherwise things are going to get far worse. I think that's his angle.
Well, he morphed from P.T. Barnum to Chicken Little, right? The sky is falling. I mean, it's just a fear-based campaign. It's the only campaign he's going to run for the next 100 days. It's all about fear. And I was talking to a buddy of mine this morning. It's kind of fear and loathing, to kind of paraphrase Hunter Thompson, right? People loathe Hillary Clinton, but Donald Trump's going to feed them fear for the next 100 days.
And it works.
As we look towards the Democratic convention, then what kind of tone do you think Hillary Clinton will take?
Completely opposite in my view. It'll be much more hope and aspirational in the things I'm going to do when I'm in the White House as opposed to all the things that are wrong in the world. It'll be a very different dynamic.
She's going to need a coach for that because that's not really her thing.
Yeah, she'll have one.
But if you're not looking for someone traditional, doesn't a speech that you heard from Donald Trump resonate more because it seems more real, something you haven't heard before necessarily, than a canned, here's a political speech that we're going to hear on Thursday night?
You know, for him, it seemed canned and disciplined in a sense. I mean, you didn't get out of hand, but you had that sort of nationalist tone, you had the fear-based tone. I mean, these are red meat for a hungry audience.
He does appeal to kind of non-traditional folks, and that's a big thing. And Hillary's just the opposite of that, of course. So, but the problem with Trump is that he's alienated so many core groups, whether it's Latinos or Muslims or gay people until last night or young people. I mean, just across the spectrum. So he has a really difficult time bringing enough people back together to get over 50%.
Well, isn't that what Ivanka's role was?
Well, Ivanka was spectacular, and you know, nothing. The kids were great, and all three of them outshined their dad. I thought, quite frankly, I mean, they were really very good.
Yeah, well spoken.
Yeah.
She's a lovely woman. I don't know that though gets votes, does it?
Well, she was appealing to working moms, working women.
And she was the aspirational speaker. I mean, she actually talked about good things, and then her dad came out and kind of shut it down.
But she started her speech by talking about being a millennial. And if that's all a millennial remembers, and they remember how good she spoke, is that enough to...
Are they going to be able to
there's
make
that
that
name, Trump. I'm just going to circle that name.
7 degrees of separation there? I mean, to be able to say, yeah, a pretty millennial spoke. She's his daughter. I will vote for him. He's doing really bad with millennials, so let's see if it helps.
You'll see Chelsea next week as well. She'll do a nice job. She's not Ivanka, but she'll do a very nice job. And they happen to be friends, by the way, interestingly enough, in New York.
Right,
so
right.
that's a fun piece.
What about John Hickenlooper? We know he's going to be one of the speakers, Crisanta Duran as well. What do you think his message will be, and what do you think his role would be down the
So here's
down the
my
way?
curiosity: is do you at the Philadelphia convention, do you front load it with a lot of liberal speakers to try to pick up the disaffected Bernie Sanders, or do you tack to the center, hoping to get disaffected Republicans and moderates? Hickenlooper could do that.
How would he do that, though?
Well, because he's kind of a moderate guy. He's got a moderate guy in a swing state. He's pro-oil and gas extraction, yet he's liberal on other issues. I think he could be a strong player.
John's going to be very much a pro-business conversation, talking about how government really is about customer service, and we have to do a better job of that. And if I had to kind of throw a dart at the board and say what might he get in a Clinton administration, I'd pick Commerce, Secretary of Commerce.
And I've been trying to figure that out because likely out of the VP talk, you know,
Right.
he is out of VP talk, but he's had so many meetings with Hillary Clinton. It's like, okay, what secretary will you be? Will his speech be heard by everybody? We saw Darrell Glenn's speech not picked up by the networks. Only C-SPAN was airing it at the time.
Which is a shame. He did a great job. He's a great candidate. I'm sorry it didn't get picked up by more. I hope Hickenlooper gets some time in the sun as well. He's a good governor.
The Clinton people will put the people that they want you to see in that 1 hour slot Monday through Wednesday, and then the bigger slot on Thursday. They'll put people in the right places to be on TV. It won't be a problem. I don't know where John will be, but he'll be in a good place.
So what kind of controversy can we expect from the DNC? We started the RNC with the rules controversy. Is there going to be anything that's going to be some upheaval?
It's going to be so fun. Let's hope the Black Lives Matter people ram the stage. I mean, I'm just hoping for something fun. I don't want it to be a dry bunch of speeches. I want it to be chaos.
We heard about, I saw on,
Wow.
It was a tweet, I want to say it was a tweet, that somebody said if once Congress had their sit-in, that they've opened the doors to have something similar at the DNC. You've set the stage within Congress. We're going to bring that to your convention.
So, look, Democrats, by their nature, are kind of wilder, crazier bunch, right? The Republicans kind of follow the rules, are more disciplined, they sit in their chairs, and they applaud politely. Democrats want to be rowdy, and so I wouldn't be surprised if some rowdiness took place, but for the most part, they just saw what they don't like either, and so they're going to be very united coming into the week, not just going out of the week.
Because Hillary Clinton is very disciplined, and that's probably a lot of what people criticize about her.
Sure.
And then trying to figure out how to get the more moderate tone in there.
And they'll stage plan, like I said, the week will be much better planned out, and they'll have their speakers on when they want to have them on. It won't be, kind of hit and miss, and there won't be big speakers like Joni Ernst coming on after, the keynote speaker to an empty crowd.
Do you attack at all? Do you go negative? Do you reference Donald Trump, or do you just stay on message and be positive?
People will. It will not be Hillary Clinton, I don't think. I suspect Barack Obama will. I suspect Bill Clinton will. I suspect some other people will, but I doubt Hillary Clinton will do that.
I think she'll go a little bit negative. I think she realizes that there are some disaffected people out there that she might be able to draw, but she's going to have to soften her tone. If she comes off equally nasty as a Trump, there's going to be a lot of people who just don't vote at all.
When, as you two both know, I mean, when a woman goes negative, it's a double whammy, right? It backfires, and so that's always a tricky place for a woman as a candidate to be. And so I think she'll be more aspirational, more hopey-changey, more things that we can look forward to in a Clinton administration.
Well, we always like fireworks, so I think that would be fun to see as well.
And sit-ins, that's a great idea.
Krista likes sit-ins, apparently. All right.
Thank you both.
Hopey-changey.
Hopey-changey.
We'll be right
That's my Sarah Palin. I'm in big trouble.